What's going on, guys? Plastic Beach X3 back here with another One Piece sim video, and this time it's going to be another ranked sim video utilizing the Bonney strategy. So once again, I'm going to be playing the Bonney deck on my ranked sim, playing some ladder games. This is the list. A lot of you hate that I cut Zoro. I don't care. I don't think Zoro is a good card. You can't convince me otherwise. You could definitely convince me otherwise, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to realize how good it is until I play a game where I feel like I lost because I don't have it, and that just hasn't happened. I don't think it's that good of a card. You know, it shines in the very specific matchups like the Mirror. I've said this 100 times. It shines in very specific matchups like the Mirror, Black Yellow Luffy, and NL. But even in NL, it can get Rygoed, and you just skip a turn essentially because you spent all turn playing it and doing nothing else. In the Mirror, you can definitely just win without it if you take an aggro approach, and just being good in one matchup, 2 or 3 matchups doesn't justify the fact that it's really, really, really bad in other matchups and you just lose because you draw it over something like Kid. And in Black Yellow Luffy, you know, obviously pretty good, but also so is Kid, so is Dofi, so is Basil, so is Hody. So like you have plenty of cards that are backbreaking in the matchup enough to where Zoro just doesn't matter. Everyone comments, well, it's busted in the Mirror. Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree that it's busted in the Mirror, but it's not necessary, and I don't want to play a card that is not necessary for me to win. And I'm also, this game doesn't have a side deck. If there was a side deck, Zoro would be in my side deck. So whenever I play the Mirror, Black Yellow, or NL, I would just side one in or 2 in. But that just isn't the case, and I have to build a deck that's also going to be RP Law and Lucci majority of the time because those are the 2 most popular decks. My deck is already really good against Black Yellow Luffy without it, and those are the 3 top decks right now. So I just can't justify playing it right now. I understand why people do. It's a good card. It tops. It has tops for sure, but that doesn't mean that it's necessary. And for all the reasons I stated, I just can't get behind it right now until I'm proven otherwise. But some of these games as well, I believe, are going to be used playing this list. No. This one. This one is... Wait. Well, I don't know if it's this one or it might be... This is like a more supernova build, obviously, with no more pizza. But there is... I don't know, there's a ton of different lists here. I can't find the one I want. Maybe I deleted it on accident. Actually, I think it's this one. It's this one. Some of these games are going to be played this list because my friend Money is going to be playing some of these games that I'll be commentating over, and he's on this list, so it does play the Zoro in his list, and double of the 5-drop Bonney, which I will say I did play a game at Locals the other day where I did feel like if I had the 5-drop Bonney, I would win, but I still won the game regardless, so, questionable. And I think he actually is still on the 3-3, so either way. By the way, this is going to be an all Lucci game. Sorry, all Lucci video, so we're just going to go through some Lucci games I have queued up here, starting with this one. Turn off the sound and go to 2 times speed. So this one is my list with no Zoro, no Bonney. I believe that's where we're at this point in time. I record these games in the past and just queue them up ready to record, so I forget a lot of what happens, and I also forget what list I'm playing, but I believe this is the one I showed in the very, very beginning of the video. We're going to start out with a double Bonney. They also have double Searcher of their own, so it's pretty good for them. They can actually clear the Bonnies this turn. They're actually just going to go Rebecca into Brook, which interesting to play that so early. I can get it because now you can potentially kill the Cavendish or the Basil with your Brook this turn if you wanted to, but they're actually just going to swing 7. I will counter to try and play around the Isho, and then they play a Sabo. They're just going to take this free block with the Sabo, and now I can just hard punish, swing 8 into it, and play my Basil Hawkins. So just double Basil, probably going to play the 3rd. Basil is obviously the best card in the matchup. It's a little concerning that this Brook is on the field, but I can just tap it since they decided not to kill it. you know, reduce my Hawkins and swing with the Brook instead. And I'll just take the free block as well because it's so free. They're obviously going to play something worth 8 on this turn, so they're going to play Gecko into Lucci and Spandam, I guess just to get a 6k on the board. And then I'm going to respond with a Basil into a Urog. Get a lot of value there. They immediately remove the Urogs. With a Lucci in hand, I will tap this other Lucci that can swing and just let this Basil go on the 10 swing. They're going to swing 9 and I got to let that go as well, so I'll go 5, 7, and play 10 drop, pass turn. They're going to immediately move this 10 drop utilizing 2 of their Ice Age, so it's a lot of removal out of their hand. Pretty good for me. They're going to actually kill it with a Brook and then play a Sabo. I'm going to go 5, bait out that Sabo, swing 7 just to keep up the pressure, and then freeze the Sabo, Lucci, and Gecko. I think for obvious reasons there. They're going to go 7 to the Basil. I'm just going to 1k because I feel like they're going to want to, you know, tap a lot of Dawn this turn. So I'm going to make them put Dawn under their leader or their Brook to try and kill the Basil. And they just can't, so they do decide to play the Stussy, kill the 10 drop, and I don't have another 10 drop, but I can swing 5, 7, Kid into Corazon, which is pretty busted against their deck. They're going to get 1 big swing here, but they do have a Kaku to kill the Rosinante, which is annoying. Opening up my Kid for a lot of removal here, and unfortunately I don't have a Hody at this point in time, so I think really hard on whether to tap the Sabo or whether to tap the Stussy, and I think I just have to try and live another turn, play another Kid. I am at 2 life, so it's not that big of a deal. I can play another Kid and then try to kill them next turn. So I'll go 5, make them discard a card. They choose not to block there, even though they have been earlier in the game. And then 7, they actually do choose to block there, which I thought was weird. They just really want to stay at 1 life, I guess. And then I just play a Kid into Corazon once again. So they decided to go 10 with the Gecko. They could have like swung 5 with leader and then with Brook, just no Dawn investment to kill the Corazon. But I would have tapped one of their big guys, but they could have ensured a kill on the Kid. They're going to go 8 into the Kid with the leader. Give them a 1k. And they will just double Tempest Kick, draw 2 cards, and be able to kill the Kid with this Brook. They put a Dawn under it for no discernible reason, and then swung 9 into my Basil. And if they would have just not put a Dawn under the Brook, they probably win, and just put it under the Kaku, they probably win here. But they decide not to do that, so I just have to math. 10, I can go 11, 11, or 10, 12. So I'll go 10, 12. And either way was good. So we're gonna go into the next Lucci game. Gonna start out with this hand. It has a Basil, so I think I keep it, and then I also have a beginning play, a searcher play, so it's pretty good, and Hody on curve is pretty good as well. And I also have a 5 drop, so I mean it's a keeper. So I'm just gonna play this Cavendish and swing 6 to avoid the the free block. They will give me a 2k on that one. They're gonna use their stage. Oh, they got stage out of first life, by the way, so it's busted. And then be able to kill my Cavendish with a Rob Lucci. Here, I think the play is kind of obvious. Just swing 5, play the Basil, hold up a Dawn. Just to stick the Basil, pretty good card. And then next turn I can Hody if I want to. Probably defend this pretty hard just to play her on the E-show as well. So they're going to go 6. I'm going to tap the leader and defend it. They're going to play a Sabo, draw 2, trash 2, and then play a Spandam, swing 7. Yeah, so I block in 1k once again, playing around this E-show, even though I will be going to 6 cards, so that kind of sucks. So maybe I didn't math that out correctly. Gonna go 6 into the Borsos, 8 into the Sabo, 7 into the Borso, just to make him discard some more cards, pass turn. He's going to immediately tap that Ernie's Lobby on the Hody Jones. And then swing 8 at life. I'll just tap the leader so they can't use their trash. So they can't mill 2 cards and they can't -1 more cost. Take the life, hoping to hit something crazy and just don't. Also didn't want to give them 2 2Ks over that. They will be able to kill the Hody Jones, however, which, you know, sucks. So I'll just go 5 at life. Try to bluff this 10 drop. See if he takes the... Yep, he takes... yeah, he took it because he feared the 10 drop. He didn't want to free block with Borsellino. I'm able to baby 5 here and get a kid, which I desperately needed. Thank God I play 4, right? And then next turn can just set up this kid. I can take some life here because I do have the Corazon. Get another Basil, which, you know, not the best. They're going to kill the Bonney, fair enough, and then swing 5. I'll just give them the 1K so they can't swing into my Basils. And I can probably free block this one if I want to, probably. Actually take that one. I just want to get more cards for my kid, I guess. And they choose to pass with 10 Dawn standing. Weird. I'm going to go 5, 7... and probably just hold up this other Basil. Play the kid, Corazon. Because I am at 0 life, so don't want to get too crazy. And like my pressure is so high right now that I can surely guarantee a kill with the Hody next turn. Surprising that they didn't tap anything. I guess they just didn't want to remove anything. Definitely could have like played Rebecca and stuff. I guess they're wanting to play Rebecca in a more reactionary way, I guess. They will play Rebecca and kill the Corazon and probably just either block. No, I definitely just block, right? So tap the Rebecca, you know, it's free, and then I can just block and he can't swing anymore. And then he gives up. You can see over here in the bottom right that it just so happened that he gave up and I clicked the rematch button and the green match winning things over there. Going to the third game, so this will be Money's list. As you can see, he's the one playing since we're in the Discord call and not, you know, my screen. So on the EZO list actually, so whatever list had EZO, you can go back and find it if you want. He's gonna play his Bonney. I'm gonna go 5 at life. Play the Uro, pretty standard. They're going to go 5 at life, tap the Spandam and counter out just to make them have the Kaku, and they do have it. He's going to play the Cavendish and then swing as to not lose to Tempest Kick on the Bonney. And then play the Bonney, going to take a... I don't know. Took the more pizza. I think we remember talking about this. He took it for next turn. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a 2K was just better. Gonna 2K out of that swing as to play around Isho. Let the Bonney die. Play the Ennie's Lobby and then just play Sabo. Can't kill the Cavendish this turn, so pretty good. Then we get to keep the Cavendish. Now we can just play Hody. Actually gonna more pizza. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna take a 2K anyway, so I feel like more pizza didn't do too much for you. Gonna play Hody. Swing 6 into the Sabo, get 2 Dawn back, and swing 6 once again into something. And then swing 8 into the Sabo. Gives us 2 cards over that, which is pretty good. Now we can just... They still only have 1 swinger on the field in terms of Kaku and then leader ability, obviously. Gonna get Isho'd, which is awful. Really, really bad. But can tap the leader. actually going to tap the Isho here. Great call, because you're going to want to kill that thing immediately, and they choose not to swing at life, which I guess is fair enough. But yeah, you're definitely going to want to kill that as soon as possible. Going to be able to play the Basil here. Can go 9 or just straight up 6 into the Kaku, actually. Get 2 Dawn back, and then can swing, what is that? 13 into the Isho, which demands at least 3 cards out of the opponent's hand, 2 2Ks and a 1K, and they don't have it. So, and you know, Lucci is famously has little counter in hand, so they don't have it, which ensures that the Isho dies, can swing 5 of life, and they take it. You know, pretty good play there. You know, just getting the Isho off the board is so imperative, because with Isho, stage, leader, just it's going to remove the whole fucking board. They are going to be able to clear both the Cavendish and the Hody with the Sabo, you know, double Ernie's Lobby Sabo, which is, you know, really, really good for them. But we can snap back here. We just throw a 5 at them and they take it, which is huge. Can actually swing 7 if we wanted to. Almost guarantee that they take it just because they took that 5, I feel like. And they're only at 4 cards. So what you can do here is swing 7 if you want to, but then that opens up the Sabo for an attack. So my thought here is, I think I suggested this, is you just play the kid and pass without using the effect. You have 3 life. They can swing out and you're not dead. You don't even have to block any of those swings if they try to swing out, because you can tap one of them and you can take the 3 others. So you're not in any danger. You get more cards in your hand for kid, etc., etc. The kid is definitely removable, but it's removable whether you tap it or not. In this situation, you're going to want to leave it up, in my opinion, just because you don't have a blocker to protect it. You're going to want to draw more cards with, you know, in terms of them swinging to life rather than the kid. So yes, definitely removable, but it puts them in a spot where they have to remove the kid, and also put up a blocker so that just Basil Hawkins' leader doesn't kill them. And that's exactly what we did. They were in a spot where they couldn't throw up a blocker and also kill the kid, so they had to choose one or another. They chose to kill the kid. Even if they did put up a blocker, we just so happened to top deck into Hody Jones, but obviously you don't play like you're going to top deck into something. You play to win, and they also just, I don't think, had a blocker anyway. So going to another Lucci game here. I think money's on the list once again. Maybe I think this might be the other list that does not play Ezo. They're gonna Bonney into a Basil, obviously. You know, digging for those Basils. They're gonna swing 6, and the opponent Donnie is on the T-Bone, so they're on the brand new as well, the Navy version of this deck. And here you can just swing 6 and play the Bonney, try to get another Basil. Don't get it, but do get a 2K counter. Decides to take the Bonney, and I think we were talking about how, like, damn, I was like, damn, you should have took the 2K counter. He's like, oh yeah, I should have took the 2K counter. But yeah, you just take the 2K counter there, I feel like. Pass turn, because you know the rest of your turns are going to be taken up by Basil, Hody. And they're going to swing 5, going to be able to tap this brand new. Play Sabo, pass turn. Rip a Bartolomeo, so just going to swing 5 into 3. Doesn't really matter, they could free block either way, whether you swing 5 into life or not. It's just more likely they're going to give you the brand new and not the life. So play the Basil, pass turn. They're going to play brand new. Can't get the leader effect, you know, obviously that kind of sucks, but it's whatever. You get a Basil on the field, they can't remove it. Gonna discard a card to try and play around the Isho, I guess. Can definitely just block in 1K here. And now, I mean, yeah, Basil is pretty good. So can swing 6 into the Sabo if you want, or can just swing 6 into life, 7 at life. Maybe even argue holding up the Basil, just so that they can't swing into it. And, you know, you have to protect it and stuff. Swing 6 into the Sabo. They're gonna 1K. 7 at life. Take it. I mean, you definitely want to put them on a clock because their long game is better than your long game. But you do have 5 life, so maybe in this situation it's a little different. It's hard to say. They're gonna swing 5 at life. Just tap the Sabo. And you really want to play around Isho here. So gonna give them the 1K now, pretty much unishoable for the rest of the game. And they do have the Isho, so it's huge that we didn't take that there. Predicted correctly. And their trash, I think, is kind of ass anyway, so Gecko wasn't likely. And Sabo doesn't do anything, so. And neither does Stussy. So huge that we didn't have to discard 2 cards there. Now we can, you know, potentially play this another Basil. We could go 5, 7, 7, Basil, Bonney. Actually gonna go 8 into the Sabo. It dies. Can go 7 at life. Block 2K. 7 at life. Take it. Play another Basil past turn. So just trying to set up for a kill here relatively soon. Isho is probably gonna, you know, just swing into a Basil and it's gonna die, but we can tap their blocker and let that die. And then they're gonna Gecko into another blocker and nothing else. Not even the brand new and trash, but weird. Maybe they replaced it. I don't know what happened there. Rip another Basil, which is really good, obviously. Still sitting at 5 life, and with double Basil already on the field. Actually gonna swing 6 of life to start putting pressure on them. Can go 8 of life now. Another 8 at life. And play another Basil. So you can see how busted Basil is in the matchup. You just hard mulligan for it. It's so good. It turns off their entire deck strategy. You just gotta play around Isho and you should be fine. Debating whether to swing here. You probably just do. They're gonna block. The question there is like, do you want to swing there because, or do you want to swing at the Borsellino or life because if they play another blocker, if they let the Borsellino go and they play another blocker, you can Hody them. But if they play like Rebecca Sabo, then you're kind of, you know, you're kind of toasted. So decided to swing at life, and they decided to block anyway, you know, mitigating the decision. And they're gonna swing 9, so play right to the 0 drop. Gonna discard that Bonney, so we can keep the Hody just to tap these 2 blockers. And it should be wrapping up pretty soon here. Gonna get another Hody just in case, I guess. Swing 7. They have the 0 drop event. Swing 7. Take it. Swing 7. And they have it, but then you swing 8 and you win. And we'll go into, well, how many games was that? Was it 4? I think this is a different game. Oh yeah, okay, so against the same player, but we'll play one more. I think this is the one we actually lose. And I think there's a very particular reason why we lose here. They're gonna swing 5, and we do have double Bonney into double Basil, which is fucking gross. They're gonna swing 5 at life, play a Lucci, remove their whole trash to kill both the Bonnies, and you know, kind of stuck here on 5, but can at least get the baby 5 to get another baby 5 2K, and can just swing 7 pass. Next turn is obviously Basil pass. They're gonna swing into the baby 5. Gonna be able to tap the Lucci, play brand new, take nothing, mill 3 cards, pass, get a Hody, pretty good. Just still gonna play the Basil though. They're going to E-show us. They don't hit our Basil. They don't hit our Hody, which is pretty good. And then they're just going to pass, so we can't tap the Basil or the E-show. I think just like, you know, swing 7 with leader, play Basil is pretty good. They actually give us the 0K on that. Not going to tap the Basil as to not get killed by this E-show swinging into it. Going to tap the Lucci, take a card, get into the Basil. Oh my god. Unfortunately, probably can't play it next turn because we're going to want to kill this E-show. And they do have the Rebecca, which sucks. So Hody would be good. You can swing into the Rebecca and, you know, put pressure on their field. Maybe kill the E-show next turn or something. So what I would think about here is just swinging, okay, 7 into 6. And just everything into this E-show. And they do have it, which sucks, but we do have a blocker. Unfortunately, got rid of our leader ability by swinging big into that. But it was the correct number, and it's, you know, just kind of an unfortunate situation. Probably got to give up the Basil here. Or not. Or not. And force their leader to swing into it, I guess. They're only down to 2 cards, so this E-show is definitely going to die next turn. Unless they obviously have like something crazy like Rebecca Sabo or Rebecca or Sabo. And they have Gecko. Out of the 2 cards, there was 1 Gecko, so it's pretty good. Going to be able to get Rebecca. Oh, this is, yeah, this is the game where it shows off how, like, why Gecko is the best card in the game. Because this guy comes back, no cards in hand, essentially has 2 cards last turn, 1 card this turn, and is going to be able to come back in this game because he simply has double Gecko. But we do remove the E-show, which is good. So that now they're down to 2 cards in hand because they drew for turn. Going to be able to swing 11, have another Gecko, obviously, because they always do. And it just, God, Gecko's such a good card. It shows how just crazy that card is. Just plus 1,000,000 for no reason. Gonna be able to go into Borsellino. So I mean, you can technically kill the Gecko here, but it would, you know, your board's gonna suck the rest of the game probably. Can only really go 10-11 into it and hold up a Dawn. So actually going to choose to swing 5. They take it. 7. They block and let it die, which is really good for us. And going to play the Kid Corazon combo. They do have Sakazuki for the Corazon, but they have to discard a 2K counter to beat it, so that's, you know, not the worst. But they are going to be able to remove the Kid, and I think that just snowballs our death here. We top deck into nothing, and then play the baby 5. You know, get nothing out of it, of course. Really hoping for a 10 drop there, but can't even take the other baby 5 because we're gonna have to. We can't play it. We have to play the Basil and try to beat them. So probably just 5-7, 6-7. Oh yeah, I miscounted the Dawn. Definitely 6-7. Try to kill him next turn. Hopefully we don't die this turn and we can kill him. They're gonna go 9 out life. Gonna tap the other Gecko. Take it. Just get a 2K. 9 into the Basil. Weird enough, they chose not to go for game after already committing to game, but whatever. And another 9, so definitely just gonna counter out of that. You know, if we let it die, then obviously they can play a Rebecca or something, but if we save it, then they have to swing Borsellino, or sorry, what's that card called? Brand New. So now we're just gonna start with a 9 swing. I definitely would have probably swung 9 with the base. It probably doesn't matter, but I'm always just swinging 9 with the Basil there. They do have the counter for it, so now we just have to guess their next 2 cards. We could swing 6, 8, or we could swing 7, 7. And we chose to go 7, 7. Unfortunately, they did rip the 2K out of life, so 6, 8 would have got us there. I believe that was out of life because it was this card over here, the second card. But I also don't know how the sim works on that, like cards in hand, if it's just random or whatever. So they definitely, I think 6, 8 would have got there if I'm right in thinking that the life goes right there and it doesn't move. But I think maybe 7, 7 was still probably correct, because if they just have a 2K, obviously they win that way anyway. So it's hard to say what is correct there. I think probably neither and both are correct at the same time. So gonna go into the list one more time. So this was one of the lists that we played. That's not my list. I don't like that one. I enjoy playing this one with no Zorro, no Bonney. But either way, GG's to all those guys. Make sure to subscribe to Plastic Beach X3 for more One Piece videos, and peace out.